Hey man, Mike Yarbrough here. Before we jump into this episode, I wanted to let you guys know about a couple of things going on with Wolf and Iron, very exciting things happening. One, I'm excited to announce, there's a lot of excitement going on here. I'm excited to announce that after many, many months of working on this, we have finally launched our beard oils, and they are spectacular, guys. Now, you can look at these things. You can only smell them by ordering. Sorry, I don't have like smell-o-vision or whatever through the web. But you can order these things by going to wolfandiron.com/beardoil or beard oils. Either one will take you there. That'll slingshot you over to our store where you can just see the beard oils that we have out there. We've got one that's patterned after John Muir. We've got one that's patterned after Frederick Douglass. One that's patterned after Blackbeard. Now, we don't know if these guys actually smelled like these beard oils, but they're very much the inspiration behind the scents that we chose and even some of the ingredients. And you guys can read more about those. Now, the second thing I want to tell you guys about is something called Rally Points. For those of you who are members of our free online Facebook group, the Wolf and Iron Community, you may have heard about the one coming up. It's called Be the Hero of Your Marriage. And in this one, it's coming up actually August 30th, so really, really soon. It's going to be at 7 p.m. EDT, that's Eastern Disco Time, in case you're wondering. But it's going to be all about being the hero of your marriage. And I'm going to share some it's basically an online training. I'm going to share some of my story about my marriage that's almost failed a number of times, how we kind of came to the brink and then brought it back and finally brought it back, I believe, for hopefully the last time. And I'm also going to share some thoughts and some kind of a presentation for you guys about how men think, how women think, why we are the way we are, some of the typical kind of struggles that guys and gals have inside of a marriage relationship. And look, even if you're not married, you guys want to get this kind of stuff way ahead of time. Trust me, you guys want to know these things going into it. I think this is going to bless you guys quite a bit. It's going to probably transform some of your marriages out there. And the way that you guys can attend this event is by heading over to wolfandiron.com/thegroup and join our free Facebook group. The event is there in all the details for the event, where it's going to be and all that kind of stuff online is there in the Facebook group. Now, once again, that's wolfandiron.com/thegroup. You should be prompted with a few questions to answer. Answer those questions. We don't let just anybody in. You guys know this. We try to keep things high caliber and high quality in everything that we do. And that includes the men that we're connecting with that are serious about growing and becoming better men. So once again, that's not this Thursday, but it's Thursday, August 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And I look forward to seeing you guys over there. Test.
We
Testes.
live.
We're live.
We live.
We are
I'm
live.
So woke.
We're
live,
woke.
but are you woke? Are you woke, son?
I'm so woke right now. I had coffee in my smoothie.
That's not what woke means. Coffee in your smoothie?
That's how I do it.
All
And
right.
then it doesn't really count when it's in your smoothie because it just kind of blends in with all the...
Why are you counting
fruit.
your coffees? That's not like a calorie or a...
No, that's what I'm
carb.
saying. It doesn't even count as caffeine. You get the jolt from it, but then later on during the day, you get to have like a latte or a cortado or whatever that actually legitimately counts. In case you have...
I just drink like 9 cups of coffee a day regardless of what's going on.
It's okay. That's good. So you don't even care. All right.
Yeah.
Just wear your adrenals out. That's fine.
Well, you can always step it up to meth if you wear your adrenals out.
That's true. Yeah.
So that's probably my next step.
That's good. Meth. All right. I'll add that to the Ask a Man series here.
Yeah. Is meth bad for my health?
When my teeth start missing.
How much meth is really bad for you? It's just a little bit of meth. Can we do diet meth? Meth light.
Good old meth.
Virginia Slims meth.
All right, fellas, welcome back to another Ask a Man episode on the Wolf and Iron podcast. Glad to have you guys here. I'm talking with my friend Brandon McConnell. So if you're new, what this is essentially you guys send in some questions. Brandon and I mostly answer them correctly.
Correctly?
We answer them, and we have some fun along the way. And it's just a great way to kind of have some conversations that a lot of times guys just don't get a chance to have. And just to hear guys kind of talk through and think through some things and hear some guys' perspectives on life, whatever you guys ask us. And so today we're going to be talking about friendships. How can men in the modern age have friends? This question comes from Jim, and I'm going to read this in just a second. But before I do that, you guys can actually send questions over to us, and actually you have to, because if you
It's
don't,
not optional anymore.
no,
Okay.
because otherwise Brandon won't show up. He doesn't have questions to answer. So
I don't know what to do with my hands. There's no questions.
So head over to wolfandiron.com/askaman. That's wolfandiron.com/askaman. There's a form on there you can fill out. A couple of kind of pointers to kind of get you thinking about what kind of questions are we looking for. But just anything, guys. See if you can stump us. That'd be a good thing. Stump Brandon and Mike. Ask us a question.
That's not a tall order.
That's
at all.
really not. No, I know.
I stump easy.
We'll eventually just head over to Wikipedia and just start quoting stuff off of there and saying.
Yeah, just ripping other people off like everybody else on the internet does.
So here's what Jim asked. Jim says, how can men have deep, lasting friendships in our day and age? And so the way I thought I'd take this conversation is by starting off by just talking about what are the challenges? Like, why is it so freaking hard? I think Jim's onto something here. This is something we all recognize. It is difficult, but why? So Brandon, I'm gonna let you kind of kick it off there. What are some of the challenges that guys have?
I think the biggest challenge, honestly, is it's a fear of being judged. We are in 2018. We're very good at hiding behind our keyboards and our smartphones and only interacting with people on social media, and it's just not freaking healthy. And I think we've lost the art or the social skill or whatever you want to call it of making friends, going out, approaching people, talking to people you don't know. Like, I'm kind of weird. I talk to strangers all the time just because if they look interesting. If they don't look interesting, I don't bother. But that's kind of superficial, but whatever. I'll judge books by covers too.
Well, hang on a second. Let's stop right there.
All right, go.
What makes somebody interesting? Like, you see somebody and you go, that's an interesting looking person. Like, do they
Like if you've got on khakis and a polo and you're carrying a briefcase,
okay.
probably don't got a lot to talk to you about. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I know a lot of people that fit that profile, but
Right.
I'm playing the odds, baby. It's a numbers game. So if I, and no offense to, God, that could be taken the wrong way. I just, I can kind of sort of tell who I'm going to click with and who I'm not going to. And I always make the first step in interacting with them. Perfect example. I've done a lot of flying recently for business.
Yeah.
And, you're stuck next to somebody, freaking thigh to thigh, elbow to elbow for a couple hours. And I would always try to strike up a conversation no matter what. Some of them were interesting. Some of them, I put my headphones in and listen to my book. It just is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as far as actually making and finding, it's a process, man. You've got to try. There has to be a willingness there to go out there and do it. But there's a couple things that I believe men in our generation are just starved for. And those are authenticity and honesty.
Yeah.
So if you can be a genuine freaking guy without the bullcrap mask that everybody wears when they're out there trying to look cool or worried about being judged or worried about what people are going to think of them. And if you can just shelf all that garbage, you'll find friends a lot faster than if you are, operating behind that facade. And then honesty, man, just we see each other's social media profiles and it's all rainbows and stars and just everything's great. And, my life is perfect. There's crap in everybody's life. Like, talk about your crap. Talk about your garbage. You don't want to be a downer, but like,
Yeah.
if there's like a legitimate thing going on, like, be willing to be vulnerable and, expose yourself and express that to somebody. And just, I don't know. We really suck at being real in 2018.
Yeah.
Like, we as an American male society, we suck at being real.
Yeah.
We always feel like we have to put up this front and it's all garbage. And, I think most people see through your fronts, whether they articulate that to you or not.
Yep.
Where are you at?
I agree with all that. I think it's right on. I think there's also an aspect of what challenges us is, I'll just kind of speak from my own experience. So you and I went to the same church for a while and, kind of not grew up. After I got married, summer stays at home with the kids. I'm out, doing the work thing. Right. And there was a big push, not necessarily bad at all, from a Christian perspective, for men to really be heavily involved in their families, right? To the point of, if you're doing stuff outside of, things that are focused on the family, you're basically stealing time away from family, right? And so I think for me, it was I had a lot of pressure to be super family centric and only do things that where the family could be involved. So the kids could be involved, wife could be involved. We could do things with other couples like that, but we couldn't just, I couldn't just go and like have guy time, right?
Yeah.
Without feeling like I was taken away from family time. And I think some of that has to do with how, and this has happened since the industrial age, and guys basically go off to work now instead of doing work around the home or around with the family and involving the family. And so we're gone pretty much all day long. And then we come back and we're like, man, I've only got so many hours in the day to spend with my kids, to spend with my wife. And, am I really how much of that am I actually going to spend just going and hanging out with my boys,
Yeah.
So I think sometimes some of it is time challenges. Some of it's the pressures of being a good dad and staying home and taking care of, family life. I think that's part of it.
But can I be honest?
Go ahead.
Sometimes, not all the time, sometimes my family makes me miserable. I love my wife. I love my 4 kids, but sometimes they drive me crazy and I need a break from them. And if I don't get that, and I'll be honest, I'm more of an introvert than an extrovert.
Yep.
But I make it a point to fake extroversion really well. But anyhow, if I don't get alone time, like just solitude away from everybody, including my 3 boys and my 1 girl and my wife, it makes my family time miserable. And I think that you could have the same effect if you're not getting some guy time or spending some time with a peer or something like that. So I don't think there's anything wrong with a weekly or semi-weekly guys' night, or as long as it's purposeful. If you're just sitting around, drinking beer and telling fart jokes, like it's not really filling you up. But if you're actually spending time, socializing with other men who are good for you.
Yep.
We've got a lot of bad influences. I tend to be a little bit on that end of the spectrum, but I try not to. But so it's a balance, but it's a balance that's worth pursuing.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I like that points you made there about making it purposeful. The times that I did get away were typically early morning breakfast, getting away with some guys like every other Tuesday or something like that, right? Like a accountability or men's group type of thing. Or some kind of men's meeting that was intentional, right? It was intentional to build each other up, and it wasn't just, let's just get away and go do some stuff. Although there were some of those as well, like let's go out and shoot or whatever, and that's fine. Yeah. And as I grew up, one of the things I realized was that, men, we really do, we need and we thrive off of independence. And when we're family oriented so long, and I don't mean like independence like the lone wolf type of thing. That can go the wrong way. But I mean independence in terms of like, I'm my own man, maybe with other men, and that's fine. Like men can be around other guys and still feel independent to a degree. Whereas when we're with the family, we're interdependent. We kind of engage with the family. We're sharing in like the emotional struggles. But it takes us over to like this estrogen kind of side of things. I mean, like biologically speaking, it starts to increase our estrogen and then decreases our testosterone. And that's why we do feel that kind of like, I'm going to go freaking crazy if I have to stay in this house again. That's why we want to go away and kind of do our own thing. Sounds like
you need some TRT and maybe an estrogen blocker.
I could use something. Yeah, just give me a shot right now. But getting some of this away time, alone time, or with the guys' time, that increases our independence and decreases our interdependence, and that's helpful. Kind of going back to your point about being genuine, guys being authentic, right? And that has to do not necessarily with the time commitment, but it has to do with the depth, I think, of our relationships. And I think one of the things that happens so often is guys, we just keep it very shallow, like you said. Hey, Joe, how's the weather? Hey, Joe,
God, I can't stand
what's going on?
Small talk.
What's going on at work?
Talk to me about your new
Tell me about your work because
Joe.
I'm going to forget it in 5 minutes because it's completely boring.
Yeah, I can't stand small talk.
Where guys experience the deepest friendships and really in the shortest period of time is when they share struggles together. Yeah. And I've seen this done, purposefully and well, I guess it's always purposefully. So I've been in like small group type of discussions or I don't know what you call it, men's kind of meetings, discussions, but where it's really intense, where the guys is like, okay, guys, let's just get right down to it. You know, what are your issues? What are you dealing with?
Yeah.
Right. And you may have 4 or 5 guys and they all share like really, really strongly, like, hey, you know, here's what's going on in my life.
Yeah.
And, you know, you could almost think about like an AA meeting or something like that. I'll tell you, man, very, very quickly, friendships are formed because there's an openness and a trust there.
Yep.
The other times that I've seen it has been in F3. So the guys get
Yeah.
together, they work out hard, they have a beat down, they're struggling together. Even if you're the guy that's in the back of the pack, you know, and somebody is out there supporting you, whatever the case, it doesn't really matter. You're still, you showed up,
Yeah.
and you're part of that group now. And there's
there's
serious,
nothing better than a good just ass kicking workout
that's right.
to build bonds.
Yeah. And so I think that's, you know, even if you're going to the gym and doing that, although, you know, the gym can kind of be a small talk kind of, you know, place like, hey, Joe, let's go lift some weights and not talk to each other.
You can talk, you're not working out hard enough.
That's a good point. Yeah. But you know, having some banter back and forth and some guys working out hard, you know, that's key.
I worked out alone in my garage this morning.
That's sad.
It is sad, but it was rewarding.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but hey, you know what? That helps build up your testosterone, independence.
And my muscles.
Your muscles. They're looking pretty good, by the way. If you guys could see what I could see right now, that's all I'm saying. So let's talk about how to form these friendships. So we kind of talked about some of the challenges. It's still difficult. So how do we get to a place where guys can form deep, meaningful, open relationships, especially in a culture where, like you said, most of the guys, even though they're looking for it, not every guy's raising their hand saying, I want a friend, be my bro. You know what I'm saying?
Don't say it in that voice, but I mean, if you honestly, like, if somebody came up to me and we had like a little bit in common and we were kind of, you know, vibing a little bit, just hanging out, and they said to me, you know what, man, I really don't have a lot of friends and I'm looking for some guys to hang out with, I wouldn't think like, oh, what a loser. Like,
yeah.
I would be like, wow, this guy's got some balls. Like, he's got the guts to actually communicate a problem in his life. And straight up, I don't have a lot of friends. Like, I'm very much a quality over quantity type of person.
Yeah.
I've got maybe 2 or 3 guys in my life that I would even consider, and I don't toss the label friend around real recklessly either.
Yep.
So I've got probably 2, maybe 3 guys in my life that I consider friends. And I could use more friends.
Yeah.
The challenge is finding friends who are attached to a female who also gels with my wife. So that's always that's another layer, that's another level. Because like, if you really want to have some bro time, get the hens out of the house, and then you can have more of that time because it's together time, but it's also a bro sesh.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's a good point, because some of the best times you and I have had, some of the best conversations one-on-one has been when
you're not one of the people I consider friends, just FYI.
Totally editing that out. That's gonna be...
You have to do that for your self-esteem.
No, some of the best times that you and I have had, some of the best conversations has been when our wives, my wife and I have come over to your house, or vice versa, and our wives start talking, and they kind of go off in the other room and do their thing.
Go away, ladies.
And then you and I hang out and talk.
Yeah.
That's right.
We're going to set something on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna
roast some flesh over an open flame.
That's right. Yeah.
Y'all go knit.
Yeah. And that can be a challenge. I mean, like, you may have like work friends where you get along pretty well, but their wife, like, you can't even stand their wife, you know, and you don't want to be around them. So that can be a challenge.
Yeah. I congratulate you on your wife, because I can stand her.
That's good. That's good. I like her all right too. She's good.
Well, that's good. You should probably hang on to her then.
Yeah. I'm doing my best. So I think one of the things that they kind of point out there is that we got to make time for it. Like, we got to be purposeful and intentional, because I think back in the day, here's what I imagine. John says, man, I got this, I got to slaughter like 10 hogs today.
Yeah.
And, hey, 5 guys come over and help out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They all come over
make
and
me a burger with that big old bucket of fries.
That's right.
If you would have said 6 guys, that joke wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyhow, go ahead.
Yeah. So 5 guys. I get it. Yeah. 5 guys. Sorry, I'm a little bit slow.
Might not have been that good of a joke. Who knows? We'll let the audience decide.
So the little promotion there, 5 guys, burgers and fries, folks. This podcast brought to you by. So the having the guys come over and have something to do, like
Yeah,
around
pitching
the
in
house.
on like some huge chore or task together.
Or I'm mending this fence. You help me now, and I'll help you with yours, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
We don't have so much of that.
No,
nowadays.
I pay somebody to cut my freaking grass, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's so, I don't know. It's so backwards. Like we're just so. I hate that I pay somebody to cut my grass. Straight up.
Well, I pay someone to cut my grass too, even though I have teenage boys. But the reason I do that is because this guy shows up on time and he does an awesome job.
Yeah.
Whereas my kids is kind of like, guys, seriously, cut the grass. And I got tired of that.
I didn't say write your name in the grass with the lawnmower. Cut the grass.
But in any case, I think the other thing too is that when we do have something going on, like let's say I'm going to be putting mulch out or trimming the trees or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
I feel bad about inviting people over. I feel bad about saying, hey, Brandon, I know you've got a busy life. You got a busy schedule. Come over here and help me put this mulch in, and then I'll help you when you do, right? I think that's a challenge, unless it's like your next door neighbor and they offer it up. But I mean, how often does that really happen?
It's just we've made ourselves so busy. Like we've just made ourselves entirely more busy than I think human beings are supposed to be. Like this stuff used to be simple and automatic, I think.
Yeah.
But like just think about all the crap that we do. How old are you?
40.
40. I'm 37. Think about all the stuff that gets done by American humans in 2018 that wasn't happening when you were a kid. Like there was no internet.
Yeah.
There was no social media. There was no Netflix and chill. Like you had to I had like 5 channels when I was a kid. I had an antenna. I was that kid, whatever.
No, yeah, same here.
But actually I still am that kid because I don't have cable. But yeah, it's just we've come up with so much garbage to fill our lives with. And like I can remember sitting around when I worked in an office, people talking about their shows.
Yeah.
And they would go, what about this show? And then what about that show? And then what about this show? And then what about that show? And I was astounded.
So the whole conversation is just about TV or about somebody
not
else's
just that
life.
The conversation was about TV, but their entire freaking life was about TV. I don't know how they fit it into their schedules. Like they got home from work, locked their kids in cages, sedated them, and turned on the TV, I think, because I don't know how they get anything.
Yeah.
Like, it amazes me the way that we spend our time. And I'm just as guilty of this as anybody. I spend entirely too much time staring at this damn telephone.
Yeah.
But it's not a telephone
You call
anymore.
it a
It's
telephone.
a computer. But anyhow, like just way too much time with my nose in that thing. And like you walk into a restaurant and see a group of people sitting at a table together, especially at lunchtime. They've all got their noses in their freaking phones, not even talking to each other. I'm like, how the hell do you expect to have a friendship if you won't take your nose out of your phone for 5 minutes to look the person across the table from you in the eye and say, hey, how's your day going?
Yeah, let's clarify that then. What's the difference between a digital Facebook friend versus
They don't exist.
a friend?
Listen, if you think the people that you're interacting with on Facebook are friends, I'm not buying it.
No.
I don't buy it. I don't think there is well, maybe I might be being a little bit, painting with a little bit too broad of a brush, but I genuinely think it's very difficult to cultivate an actual relationship on social media.
Yeah, I agree. And I have guys that are buddies of mine, real strong friends that have been friends for life, right? Like, for example, if you moved away and we were chatting on Facebook, I'd still consider you my friend, even though you don't think I'm your friend. But I would still consider you my friend.
Don't be so sensitive.
So sensitive. I still consider you my friend because we had that's already established relationship, right?
Yes.
And Facebook's just a way to keep in touch. But you're right. I mean, I've got people on my Facebook friends list that sometimes people who pop up, I don't even know who they are.
I've got friends I've never met.
Yeah.
Air
friends.
quotes friends.
Air quotes friends. Yeah, that's right. People can't see that.
Yeah, you can't see the air quotes, but they were there.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the other thing. You got to realize what a real friendship is versus this phony baloney friendship, right?
And I think there are people, like there's a generation coming up where they think that's what a genuine relationship is.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong, but it seems to be that way.
I think it's kind of another piece to this. Something that doesn't happen often on social media or doesn't go over very well.
I want to smell your pheromones.
What are you talking
I just
about?
want to see what you're about.
Oh, wait, are you talking about me specifically?
No, not just like, like you get something more out of an interaction when you're actually standing in front of another human being.
Did you smell somebody's pheromones?
Do you know what pheromones are?
I know what they are.
It's
They're
like
the
this
things
thing you put off, and you can
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
who's the man and who's not.
Yeah.
And just, I just like my job.
Yeah.
Absolute worst part about my job is dialing the damn phone. The instant I get in front of somebody, everything changes. It becomes much easier, and it's just because I'm standing in front of you. You can see how I'm carrying myself. You can read my body language. You can see I'm looking you in the eye when I talk to you.
Smell your pheromones.
You can smell my pheromones.
Yep.
And it's just, I deal with leadership at, first responder agencies. So I can tell who the strong leaders are and who the weak leaders are. And it just makes life so much easier. But I'm just dialing this faceless, nameless person.
Yeah.
But anyhow.
No, I get that.
Yeah. I like to be face to face, knee to knee, eye to eye. I like to read you.
Yeah. No, that's good. A little bit creepy. Not just,
I'm reading you right now.
I can tell
You're
you totally.
uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I can smell it.
I am a little bit. Yeah, my pheromones they're not doing what they're, I don't know if that's pheromones.
Your pheromones just took a left.
The one of the things that doesn't happen on Facebook or social media, and not too often in real life either, is calling people out on their BS. And I think that builds strong friendships.
Yeah.
I'm shifting a little bit here. I think about the times you and I have been through some struggles, and we've been open about that with each other.
Yeah.
And I think we've been able to talk very plainly to each other and say, here's what I see going on. Here's what you see going on. And I think that builds up a strong relationship. I mean, you got to have that openness and that honesty to be able to say to another person, hey, this might sting a little bit, but here's what I think is happening. Right. I can remember several men that I very much respect in my life, and I still consider friends, even though I haven't talked to them in a long time. When I was in my 20s, basically calling me out on basically being a sucky husband and something of a douche. And they didn't say it quite like that, but they might as well have, because they were pretty straight up about it. And as much as I didn't want to hear that really sealed the friendship right there. Somebody's willing to talk to me like that.
Yeah.
Give me that kind of honesty.
Isn't it amazing how if you're willing to give someone an uncomfortable truth instead of the comfortable lie that everybody else is giving them? Isn't it amazing how, now not with everybody, some people just don't have an integrity or character and they just take everything personally, and
Sure.
Why would you ever attack me? And, I call them candy asses. But if somebody's willing to give me an uncomfortable truth, that just really I just respect the heck out of that, because it's so rare these days.
Yep.
Like, I love it when somebody besides my wife calls me out on my BS. She's got so much practice at it. It doesn't have the same effect anymore. But like when somebody calls me out on my BS, man, it's like, it's awesome. It's refreshing.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And I think in order to do that, kind of go back to what you were talking about originally, we got to be real, right? We got to say, here are the things that are going on in my life that suck.
Yeah.
And when we start blaming our wife and our job and our situations and circumstances and all that kind of stuff, the true friend comes along and says, yeah, but what about you?
Yeah.
Right. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Here's what I see, where you're making a lot of excuses instead of making solutions.
Yeah. Here's a copy of Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. Read it. Apply it.
That's right. Yeah. I think it's absolutely valuable.
That, and there's just something about being face to face with somebody and having the guts to say something they don't want to hear. It's really easy to do that on the internet.
Yeah.
I call it being within punching range. So if you're within punching range and you're still willing to say it, it must be something that's pretty damn important. So not because I'm some tough guy, but like,
yeah. But you never know. Somebody might fly off.
Yeah, exactly.
Let you have it.
But
especially with some of the stuff that gets said, right?
Yeah. And it's just, there's so much. Facebook has turned into such a sewer.
It has, but at the same time, we are stuck in this society where, I don't want to say stuck, in some ways we're very blessed to have the ability to weed through all the crap. Like, you and I live in a nice sized city of Charlotte. We have some friends here that are of high quality. Well, you have two friends. I have a few, maybe more than that. But
you're definitely tallying up more than I am.
But we have a pretty good selection of men to choose from, from churches that we've been to and things like that, if we want to have more solid interactions. A lot of guys don't have that. A lot of guys are out and they're just stuck in, I don't know, California or someplace that sucks.
I actually think I could live in Northern California.
Yeah, I think I could
if I was out in the boonies.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
But in any case, it's great to be able to meet other guys who have similar interests and have their head on straight, right? At the same time, you got to solidify those relationships in some kind of realistic way. And I think that this is a challenge. I'm kind of thinking about Wolf and Iron here, right? As we grow, And we've got this online community, Facebook group, about 2,000 guys.
Yeah.
A lot of really good, solid guys on there. Men that I would consider friends, even though I haven't met them, just because we've had back and forth discussions and some stuff like that. But we will have a much stronger friendship when we finally meet face to face.
We got to have a gathering.
We got to have a gathering.
We got to have a gathering.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is something you've been considering or not, but I think we got to have a gathering.
I think so. No, I have been considering it. Yeah.
And there's got to be like some freaking, there's got to be smokers with pork on them.
Agreed.
And just some kind of killer physical challenge.
Agreed.
Not like on Double Dare, but like a real physical challenge. And speakers. Oh yeah, we gotta have a gathering, Mike.
Yeah. Well, I'm a speaker. Are you a speaker?
I'm speaking right now. Currently.
So we have two. We have two speakers.
Yeah.
I think we do have to have a gathering, and this is where I fall short. My wife's great at this. You might be better at this than I am, but it's the whole organization of the thing, right?
No, I'm the ideas guy. Somebody else has to organize the damn thing.
See, well, we're stuck then. Yeah. So, okay, we'll get our wives on this.
Don't get my wife on it. Get your wife on it.
I'll get my wife on it. And no, I know some guys. Cody, you know who you are. You're listening to this. You're on it. So I have a guy in mind. His name is Cody, in case you didn't catch that.
Did this just happen like live? Is this something you've been thinking about?
Well, we're not live, but it is something I've been thinking about.
Me.
The challenge is, as I think about it, I won't go into too many details here, is I got a lot of crap on my plate.
Yeah.
And so if somebody else could organize it and get it rolling, I'd love to be kind of like, yes, this is good. No, I don't like that piece.
Yeah.
Basically just crap on all their ideas until it looks like what I want. And then say,
Seems
Brandon,
like
let's go do this gathering thing at this place at this time. And you'd be like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Let's go do it.
All right. So what's the place? What's the date? Let's set the date right now. What's the date?
Right now?
Yeah.
Can I look at my calendar?
Yes.
I don't really need to.
I mean, I'm talking like 6 months, a year from now.
Huh? Oh, really? No, I'm thinking like not that long.
Oh, you're not a planner.
No, I'm not. I'm thinking more like before the end
tomorrow?
Of the year.
I'm busy tomorrow, bro.
Tomorrow morning,
all four of you guys at Panera Bread were awesome.
I'll tell you what I'd love to do. If I had my druthers, I'd say October time frame because it's not too cold.
What's a druthers? What is that?
It's like it's like brothers, but also different. And so if I had different brothers,
I have a brother and he's very different.
That's what that means basically.
Okay.
So if you had a different brother than the one you had, here's how you'd want him to be.
All right.
I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
So before we record again,
okay,
I'm gonna cut you a little bit of slack.
Okay.
Before we record again, have a date.
I like this.
That's gonna set.
Well, no,
we're gonna put this out.
We're recording immediately after this episode.
Well, no, I meant.
Okay.
You're not supposed to tell everyone
here's what I'll do.
Behind the scenes stuff.
No,
man.
here's what I'll do. I'll come up with the date, and I'll get with you on this, right? Before we release this episode. So basically, the pre-recording of the episode will have a pre-roll.
Yeah.
And so by the time they have listened to this part, they will have already heard, like, hey, guys, go to the website to check out,
yes,
the gathering we're going to be talking about, when it's going to be, and get registered and all that kind of stuff. So that's what you guys will do. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. You can head over to wolfandiron.com/thegathering. That sounds a little ominous, doesn't it? The Gathering? Is that a TV show?
I mean, I like The Gathering. What do you want to call it?
We'll just call it Gathering. I don't know. For right now, just go to
wolfandiron.com/teenage disco dance party.
It's not, the URL doesn't exist. It can be whatever you want it to be. wolfandiron.com/gathering or The Gathering. Both of them will link to the same place. They'll take you over there, and we may change the name of it up, but that'll work for now.
Yeah.
So I don't have to splice in a URL into this mix. So
we did not think this episode through at all.
We did not, but this is how we make things happen. So it'll either be soon-ish or it'll be next year.
My favorite month, like if we're going to do it here in North Carolina, I don't know where most of your listeners are. October, man, is my favorite month.
That's what I just said.
In the
Did you hear me say
Carolinas.
October a few minutes ago?
You did. Well, it's also my birthday. We should do it on my birthday. Let me see what my birthday is this year. Hold on.
You don't know when it's the same day every year.
Day of the month. It's on Knucklehead.
I want to say Wednesday.
This is taking way too long. This is way too much dead air. October 23rd. It's on a Tuesday. That's not going to work.
I think I was close.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But it'll be close to your birthday. So when we have it, make sure you bring Brandon a present.
Nah, that's not necessary.
Also, my birthday's in October.
When's your birthday?
Actually, it's in April. I just wanted a present.
Oh, man. I was going to say.
But anyhow, so we'll plan it for some October. We'll have something in October, even if it's next year.
All right.
But I'd like to do something this October if possible, even if it's just a small get-together.
I've got a sniper competition the weekend before my birthday, so that won't work. So.
All right. We don't have to plan it all out right now. That's fine. We'll figure it out. freaking sniper competition. That
Just kinda
sounds
wanted to
totally.
kick in the fact that I'm going to sniper
That sounds totally
competition.
badass. I got nothing going on in
Yeah.
October. I'm going to be picking leaves in the fall.
Wow, your work's got to be done too, Mike.
All right, so there we go. That's a good way to wrap that up. So, guys, anyhow, to kind of wrap everything up about the Friends stuff,
We really got off track.
we did just a little bit off track, but we may have come up with something awesome.
But this guy that sent that question, and he might come to the gathering, meet me, find out I'm a pretty cool dude, and know I'm in a friend deficit.
Yeah.
And we really hit it off, and he lives, down the block.
Oh, you've totally opened yourself up now because people are thinking you need at least 15 friends is what most guys are thinking, and so everybody's going to be saddling up when they meet you.
Well,
to
I mean,
try
if you guys, have the guts to come say, hey, I need a friend.
Yeah.
I'm like, you live in Amarillo, it's not going to happen. Go away. But if you live near me,
Maybe.
I'm not a big long distance friendship guy.
I know.
My brother has this amazing skill where he's still friends with all the people he went to high school with, even though he lives 8 hours away. And I haven't talked to anybody. Like, I don't, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of friends in high school either, though.
Yeah.
Not
But
for lack of trying.
So your brother had friends, but you didn't?
Yeah, my brother was actually he was not afraid to be himself. And my whole time in high school, I was terrified to be myself. I was always worried about being judged and what people thought of me and stuff like that. And so I was always really afraid to open myself up. And part of having friends is opening yourself up.
Yep.
And yeah, I wish I could go back and do high school over again.
Oh, man. That'd be so
That'd be
awesome.
pretty cool.
That would be really cool.
I mean, a younger version of myself with the wisdom I have, the knowledge I have now. If I went back to high school now, it'd be kind of weird because I'm 37.
I have these visions. I can't get off track here again. I have these visions sometimes where if I could, I hear a cool song on the radio, and it'd be so awesome to go back in a time machine and pretend I made that song up.
Yeah.
Right? And then play that in front of everybody and then get in the auditorium and just rock it out.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you, speaking of cool songs,
Okay.
I'm going to tell you the story of the most disappointing moment with my children in the last week. I Want My MTV by Billy Idol.
No,
who is it?
no, not Billy Idol, for crying out loud. It's the band. The guys are named the band
So
Dire
yeah,
Straits.
by Dire Straits.
By
Duh,
Dire
everybody
Straits,
knows
which we
that.
totally didn't have to pause and look that up.
We did not pause and Google. So anyhow, I want the opening guitar riff.
Oh, freaking awesome.
Of I Want My MTV by Dire Straits, when he's got the synthesizer going and it just builds and it's like this beautiful, amazing thing that turns into this awesome guitar riff. And I'm in the minivan, we're going somewhere, and I crank that ish up and I look in the rearview mirror, my kids are sitting there stone-faced. I'm like, what? I couldn't turn it down to yell at them because I love the song, but I'm like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
This song is amazing. And they're sitting there like stone. I'm like, whatever. Put some salsa music on and they're all over the place, but nothing. They're just sitting there.
Man.
And I literally thought about throwing them all in the lake, but I didn't.
That's good. This is how terrible things happen. My kids, I've got an 18 and 15-year-old now, right? And
What are they into?
They kind of one's into orchestral music, which is okay. Is a little different, soundtracks and stuff. The other one's into dubstep type stuff. I don't even know what you call it, like electronic type stuff.
Yeah.
But it's both
With
of them
the
have
wah dubstep stuff.
Yeah, it sounds a little different than that.
Like Datsik
it's more
and Space Nectar.
Yeah, but there's lots of growls and stuff.
Growls.
And
dubstep.
So anyhow, there's a new band out, and I was telling my kids these guys sound a lot like Led Zeppelin. Check them out. And my kids were like, Greta Van Fleet.
Love that band.
And my kids were like, I don't know enough about what Led Zeppelin sounds like to have
Just
a reference.
listen to what your ears are being blessed with.
I know. I was like, I have failed as a father. So, some things you can't.
I'm you're into Greta Van Fleet, and we just discovered that.
I know.
That's
awesome.
You're my friend.
I know. See, we just bonded.
That's why you're half my friends. You're half my friends, Mike.
All right, fellas, that's enough for today. Be sure to head over to wolfandiron.com/askaman and leave us some questions there that you want to have answered in similar fashion as what we've done today. So that's all I got.
Peace.